Okay, we're back, you guys. We're going to be talking about eyeliner for the different eye shapes. I'll be posting pictures of the shapes of eyes beside me, and I should say this side because I'm backwards on the camera. So we'll begin again with almond eyes, which we talked about in the last week's videos. So when you're going to do almond eyes, something like what my shape is, it's a good idea to start with a creamier consistency and trace your lash line before slightly sponging it. Okay, so one of the reasons is so you guys can see, like, when your eyes are open, they're going to react differently on the outer corner than if your eyes are shut. If you shut and you do your eyeliner and you open them and you've got almond eyes and you've got too much of a crease going, I mean like a hood going here, it can get all wonky. And a lot of times you've seen you know, makeup artists or people on YouTube keep the eyes open and trace, and it can almost look like a bat shape when it's done, like a bat wing when it's done. And at towards the end of the week I'll post some demos and stuff like that so you guys have a better visual of it all. But you need to have the information first. So creamier substance for a soft, dreamy finish, since the eye shape tends to be the most, it's pretty symmetrical. It can handle lots of eyeliner looks, but the easiest technique is to follow the natural shape of the eye while building thickness toward the outer third and the outer half. Yeah, I normally don't ride the liner this low. I usually like to lift my eyes up, but this is, you know, kind of like a combo, sort of foxy eye, along with a little bit of graphic. So I also did the rim, and I did the rim on the upper as well, and I did rim the top and bring it into the corner to a bit of a point to extend it to a more wide appearance. So that's just something that, you know, one look you can do with almond eyes, but what's suggested here is just to begin by lifting the outer corner and manipulate the outer edge the most, and that will pop the eye to the best of our ability. But we'll be talking about and showing you some wild eyeliner shapes in the upcoming videos. So let's move on to the next eye shape. Right, so just, you know, with downturned eyes, you're dealing with that, you know, change of shape where at the end of the eye where it kind of goes this way. So in order to counteract that, you can do a very thin, I'll just sort of grab up a little liner pencil. Hold on. I'll just use this little tip here to show you the example. So towards what you want to do is draw a very thin cat eye, flicking the end up towards the temples to create a little lift at the outer corners. Keeping the tail short also helps it remain visible when you smile, leaving your lower lash line bare so it doesn't compete with the top. So basically what is suggested here is to just take that little bit of liner, and when you get to the end of the eye, just flick up a little here, a little flick here, leave the bottom bare, and someone with downturned eyes, that'll pick it up in a general sense. So just keep it aware of like other features that they have and their age and all of that kind of thing. But in essence, that will lift the eye and it will give that illusion that we're looking for. So strategically speaking, when you get a wide set eye, if you're going to bring the eyeliner like a little bit what I did, and you're bringing it in the inner corner, and you could even actually do a muted soft tone in here, and that will give the illusion, even like a bronzer color or a soft brown, will give the illusion of bringing your eyes a little bit closer together. So keep the color concentrated on the inner corners on your top and bottom lashes, minimizing the product applied at the outer corner to help create more balance and draw it inwards. So if you're going to like heavy out on the outside, you know, it will pull it further out. It'll make your wide set eyes look further out, which we talked about a little bit last week as far as like that can look cool actually. Yeah. But in terms of, you know, going by the book, you're wanting to counteract the wide set eye, and you want to bring more attention inwards and make this outer part a little more subtle. So I hope that explains a little bit on the wide set eye eyeliner. I want to talk about asymmetrical eyes for a second, because, you know, we know even with our eyebrows, like, they are not the same. They're more like sisters or brothers rather than identical twins, because you know, our faces are different on both sides. Same thing with our eyes and our eye shapes. So sometimes when you've got somebody with maybe one eye smaller than the other or one larger than the other, you can use the magic of eyeliner to kind of counteract that. So you might want to thicken up around the rim on one eye to like close it down, and then thin down an eyeliner. But you have to do it subtly, and you have to graduate it out so it doesn't look overly obvious, because it can look obvious because you're trying to, if you're trying to balance, that is something that you can do and trick the camera or trick the eye into looking more balanced. So keep that in mind, that you can actually put more on one side than the other in order to make a family. Right, let's talk about our friend the round eyes. So when you have very round eyes, if you make the makeup very rounded, it's going to accentuate that shape, which can look pretty, but in terms of book knowledge, when you're trying to counteract round eyes, you are going to give it a bit of an extension out here and try to pull it a little bit more out so that it's not so circular. And you know, on the bottom, on the inner corners, you want to keep the lines thinner in the inner corners and thicker at the outer, and that will give the illusion of a new dimension. So thinner on the inner, thicker on the outer with the round eyes. And I love to rim the rim on circular or round eyes, because I just find that it flattens it as well, and smudging that out a bit also creates a more muted shape and more muted illusion to the eyeliner. So just keep that in mind when you're choosing a look for your round eyes. So if you've got somebody with really big eyes, big eyes, one cool eyeliner strategy that you can take on is doing a double flick. So this is sort of a double flick, but it's not connected here, and it's very exaggerated. But on somebody that doesn't have, like, isn't doing graphic liner, you can actually just do a double flick and a double flick on the liner in a smaller way, and it seems to be able to be carried better by big eyes. So you can opt for eyeliners with depth versus super light shades to keep it from altering the shape, make it appear even larger. So you can have fun with this, you guys. You can like take big eyes and really exaggerate things, party on the eyes. I think it's cool. But some people who have big eyes want to make them look smaller. You're gonna have to check in with your customer, with your client, with yourself, and see what you prefer. And if that be the case, you know, to make anything smaller, you always want to go with more shadowed, muted colors. So depending on what the goal is, that is my advice on big eyes. All right, let's move on to small eyes. So small eyes, you can have a little bit of fun with reflective eyeliners, I find. So you can do the deeper tone near the lash line, but then you could take, like, for example, a gold shimmery liner or a silver or something like that, and it will pop the eye forward. So taking a little bit on the lower lash line as well, you can softly smoke it out. But remember, for small eyes, if you really, you know, round them out with black, it is going to make them look smaller. Sometimes I like it anyway. Does that mean? Maybe I'm serious. Sometimes I like even small eyes with dark, small. Like, you can take black eyeshadow and kind of like expand it up to here a little bit. So that's not always a rule with small eyes, but for guidance, for book knowledge, they're saying don't put too much. Don't put too much underneath, which is like the general book knowledge for small eyes, to not make the eyeliner too heavy, although I do break the rules on that one. And opt for some light colors like bone, gold, champagne, those kinds of tones infused into the eyeliner so that it can kind of pull the eyes a little bit forward and make them seem larger. All right, let's move to monolids, which is, you know, such a cool eye shape. It's, you know, usually more flat, and you typically have no discernible crease. And you also notice that your eyelid is on the flatter side, so it's going to be a little bit flatter. So the brow bone will usually look a little less prominent as well when lining your top lash line. Start with a thin line. Use a liquid liner at the inner corner, making it significantly thicker as you extend it past the outer corner. That way the look remains fully visible when you open your eyes. And just be mindful, depending on the person, to when you're doing a thicker outer line, to kind of like have them looking ahead or a little tiny bit down, so that you can not make it blotch right in here, because if they've got monolid, it's going to catch when they open their eyes. You want to make sure that you're drawing it in a way, and it will probably look a little bat-wingy in a way that is going to be flattering when their eyes are open. So if their eyes are closed, it could mess things up. Be careful of that. Unless you're going close to the lash line, then you're fine to have them close their eyes, and you can even lift a little bit in here to get into the crevices. So that's some advice on the monolid. Hooded eyes. All right. This one you're going to have to keep an eye on, because you can, again, like the monolid, you can get messed up in the hooded area, in the crease area, and it can mangle and not look right if you don't have the eyes, you know, pretty open. But with hooded eyes, depending on the age of the person, we'll give you some guidance as to how strong you can make things. What I like to do oftentimes myself with hooded eyes is I like to take an eyeshadow or a creamier dark brown, and I like to sketch it out first and see what's going to pop the eye open without this hooded area getting mangled. So that is one of my strategies that I like to use. Start close to the lash line, make it smudgy, and push it out and up as you are going along. And you could always maneuver some eyeshadow within the wing of it to make it look more blended, if that makes sense to you. And that is a really good strategy. Keep it hooded eyes. You want to make sure that it's showing up but not overwhelming. And usually hooded eyes look good with rimming as well, rimming the top, like this part here, and rimming that part. So depending on the eye shape. Let's keep going. All right, so we're going back to close set eyes. If you guys remember that from the videos, that's when the eyes are centered closer together than one eye space in between. You should be able to fit one eyeball in between your nose bridge, your third eye. So when you have close set eyes, the goal is to pull them outwards and give that illusion. So you're going to put some lighter, like what I've done here, lighter in the inner corner, and then you want to pull all of your focus on the outer corner and start about midway, so that it does keep pulling it out with your eyeliner. So you want to start like around here and then pull it out, and that should give the illusion with light in the inner corner and heavier out, pulling out eyeliner. Even cat eye will give the illusion of your eyes being not so close set. So keep that one in mind for close set eyes. All right, our last one we're going to talk about for eyes shapes, eyeliner shapes, is deep set eyes. And again, like, be mindful of the age of the person and what you're choosing and what their style is. So essentially what you're going to want to do is try to keep it as close to the lash line as you can, as you definitely don't want to put it thick on this part, because it will throw the eyes really far back into the eye socket, and that they're already experiencing that issue where their deep set is far back. Their eyes are set back into their head a little further, into their eye socket a little further. So you want to, accentuate the shape, but not put it back further and shrink it too far. So keeping it close to the lash line and smudging it gently on the outer ends. Same goes for the bottom. Smudging it gently on the outer ends so that you get punch, but you don't get back into the head. And that usually works really, really well. You can also applying liner in a thicker manner at the inner corners can create the illusion that your eyes are even deeper set. So that's what I'm saying, is like putting it thick here is going to push it even further back into the head, and yeah, that's probably not what they want. So those are the different eye shapes. I hope that it helps you and gives you a little guidance on what to kind of maneuver with your eyeliner. Remember with deep set to go thin, thin, thin when you get close to this part. Okay, we'll see you guys in the next video, and yeah, let's talk about the different eyeliner shapes. Okay, we'll see you then.